Happy Sunday. It's 12:02. I said it was a Saturday edition, but it's kind of like a Sunday edition. But yeah. So, welcome to Chantay's analysis. For those who don't know me, my name is Chantay. So, I'm going to come to you with some stuff. I'm not going to be as long because I know people's in the bed and people got service tomorrow. So, I mean, hey, this is where we are. So, I'm just going to get to COVID, and I won't be long reporting these COVID numbers. Let me just get to my iPad. I normally will have it written out, but since I got my iPad in front of me, let's just do the darn thing, right? So, according to the Johns Hopkins website, we have 102,548,480 confirmed cases of COVID-19 around the world. That's, I believe, 191 countries. And the global death toll is at 2,219,344. In the U.S., we have reached 26,068,358 cases of COVID here. We are 25% of the cases here out of 100 million. And the U.S. death toll is almost nearing 450. We have 439,420. Great job, the United States of America. Now let's get to the states. I will normally do the countries, but I am going to focus on the United States of America at this point because that's where we are. So here it is. So California has 3,309,131. Texas has 2,362,817. Florida has 1,713,581. New York has 1,408,955. And I believe there's some places in the city per se, in the Bronx and Staten Island are seeing a surge of cases. Also, Illinois has 1,132,243. Ohio has 892,781. Georgia has 881,740. Pennsylvania has 844,519. Arizona has 756,027, and North Carolina rounds out the top 10 with 750,117. So COVID is crazy. COVID is real, and that's that. And as of today, I'm not sure the amount of cases that we have today, but they're pretty significant. It's evident how much we have. Now, in terms of a national coordinated plan, we do have one. Everybody is the Biden and Harris administration made it accessible where everybody can get a vaccine. I believe there's Moderna and Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson is rolling out another vaccine. And so far, healthcare workers and frontline workers, and I think senior citizens starting to get it. But just because you have the vaccine doesn't mean we're at a place of herd immunity. And we need to have herd immunity in order to make it clear. And right now, we're not at a place of that. We have 3 strands of COVID. That is the UK strand, which has been here for quite some time. We have the Brazilian strand, and now we have the South African strand, which it's in South Carolina. 2 cases were found in South Carolina. So scientists said that this is going to be a fierce winter, and they're not lying. And I have predicted myself about a couple months ago that this will linger into the following year. And we're already at the end of the month of January of 2021, and we're still wearing masks. And we still have the social distance. And we're still doing virtual events. I mean, this is going to be our new normal probably towards the end of the year. That's the earliest. But I see 2022 that we are at a place at herd immunity. I know the Biden and Harris administration, particularly President Biden, is hopeful that we can get to a place of herd immunity by the summertime, but that would be impossible if states will follow through with social distancing, with not having packed areas, because there's some states that still allowing others to have, club owners and small businesses to have packed crowds. And we're not at a place where we should have that, because we're seeing surges in 50 states, including some U.S. territories. I don't blame you, Chantay. I do 2 masks. I wear my surgical mask, and then I put my cloth mask on top of my surgical mask. And scientists, more so epidemiologists, have said if you're going to do the fancy mask, make sure you have a surgical mask under it or over it, or an N95 to protect yourself, because this is an airborne virus and it's caused with droplets. That's like when you talk, sometimes you see the spit come out the mouth. That's what it is. But we're not going to be a place at herd immunity. But at least we have a president and a vice president that will actually get us to a place where we can get to herd immunity by 2022. And those are the realistic facts. We also have an administration that will get us COVID relief. And not just for individuals, but for businesses. That put out 40 executive orders, and one of them was to extend SNAP and get people the vaccine right away, ordering more vaccines, and actually have a COVID task force that will actually combat COVID. And it's briefing us every other day about the virus. We got governors like this governor of New York and the governor of, I believe, Massachusetts. The governor of Massachusetts is a Republican, but he actually taking COVID in account. And there's governors that actually give a damn versus governors that are more the Trumpian governors, like the governor of Texas, the governor of Florida, the governor of South Dakota, who just don't care about the well-being of their constituents in their states. Like, COVID is affecting all sectors of every institution, from economics to healthcare, of course, to the environment, to education, and more. The list goes down the line. So we have to be at a place where we can, 1, protect ourselves by wearing our masks, 2, social distance, and 3, wash our hands, practicing good hygiene in order to be safe in this environment. I know people want to be near their family. They want to go away. They want to go outside the country. And that's another executive order which Joe Biden put, banning European travel and travel to Brazil due to those strands of COVID that is already here. And that has been here, especially the European strain that has been here for quite some time. So that's why I know people want to go out, but we got to do what we have to do to protect ourselves and to protect our loved ones, So we will be here for them by the next year. And then we can get to do what we want to do. But it's also going to be in moderation. Everything is not going to go back to normal this fast. It's going to take gradual steps. And I'd rather have it gradual steps than just going back to normal and then another pandemic happens. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Another pandemic happening. But with the science deniers in Congress, including the QAnon women, because there's 2 of them, it seems as if the GOP has been silent about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is from Georgia, who is a QAnon conspiracy theorist, who is a Trump supporter, that threatened Democrat lawmakers before her entry to Congress for them to be beheaded, including the Speaker of the House, which is Nancy Pelosi. Also, she basically harassed and made fun of a Parkland victim, a surviving victim from the Parkland shootings. Keep in mind, he's still young, but he was a very young kid then. And she thought it was okay to do that. And none of the GOP's saying nothing. They say they're going to have a talk with her, but how forceful is the talk? At this point in time, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they need to be expelled from Congress, and they need to be convicted and need to be arrested. Along with Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, Mo Brooks, Louis Gohmert, and even Kevin McCarthy himself, who was the one of the most, besides Paul Ryan. I thought Paul Ryan was horrible, which he still is horrible. Is one of the most, Kevin McCarthy, the most disgraced GOP leader in the House of Representatives ever. He's a coward. He's a punk. He's complicit. And he just don't give a damn. He don't care. Instead of working in Congress and trying to negotiate to get the COVID relief and practice your unity that you keep shoving down the throats of Joe Biden and President Biden and Vice President Harris, you go down to Mar-a-Lago to the office of the former president. For what? To cozy up to him? You're pathetic, Kevin McCarthy. You're a loser. And you're a disgrace. Not just to your party, but to the country. Overall, the GOP, since the post-civil rights movement, have been deplorable. Sympathizers to white supremacists, enablers of white supremacists, promoting policies that are only for white people and not for people of color, and not acknowledging that there's actual racists in America. For those touting that they are the Reagan conservative, why would you want to be associated with someone that did not acknowledge that there was AIDS in America, or couldn't say HIV or AIDS and refused to? Who didn't really do anything about the crime back in the 80s in black and brown neighborhoods, did everything to defund resources in our communities, and some of those Reagan policies are still affecting us to this day, and that's 40 years ago. That's a long time ago. So when people tout they the Reagan conservative, I side-eye them completely. But overall, they're terrible. And now they morphed into a conspiracy theorist sympathizing white supremacist. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I view the GOP these days. And that includes Anthony Scaramucci, which he's probably the last topic. So, Anthony Scaramucci appeared on The Cross Connection on MSNBC this morning. And when he was asked about, what was his change of heart, how he criticized then President Donald Trump when he was running for the office. And then praised him when he was a White House communications director. And then got fired within those 10 days that he worked there, because he only worked for 10 days as the White House communications director. Saying, was he radicalized by MAGA? And he said he was not radicalized by MAGA. He's a standard Republican. Okay. If you were a standard Republican, the moral conservative, you wouldn't vote it for Donald Trump. You wouldn't. Donald Trump is not a moral conservative. He don't represent conservative values. That's globalism, that's institutionalism, having respect for the institutions of our government, not a constitutionalist, representing the Constitution itself and following the Constitution. Let's see, he wouldn't got rich off the presidency. What else? He wouldn't cheated on his wives. And wives is plural. So that's how I know that Donald Trump is no damn conservative. And trust me, I am not for conservative ideals. I'm far from it. But that's not the standard conservative. So when Anthony Scaramucci said he was a standard Republican, a standard conservative, that's bull. You called Donald Trump the blue collar president. You wrote a whole ass book about it. And now you want to revise history and forget that you supported this man. There is audio, there's video, there's articles, there's books that you're still making money off of you supporting then Resident Donald Trump of the United States that resided on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, or Black Lives Matter Plaza, as I prefer. And then you get mad when you get called out about being radicalized, because you were. So I would like to read this tweet from Mr. Scaramucci because I found it quite interesting. Because you know you got to read stuff in order to confirm it. So I'm just going to find that tweet. So here we are. Make sure I save that. You are crass and unprofessional. So the word crass means stupid and gross. So he basically called her stupid. I have no need to sanitize myself. I state facts. You are dripping with sarcasm and bitterness and turning off a large swath of your viewers. Good with that amateur nonsense. What Anthony Scaramucci is suffering from, not suffering, he's part of the white fragility. He's part of the enabling of white supremacists, of white supremacist policies. Calling a black woman crass, stupid, and unprofessional makes you look bad overall. Makes you look like a racist piece of shit. And I'm going to say this, Anthony Scaramucci is, you could say, racist. and misogynistic, and he's a bigot. Who puts out a tweet? And I'm going to read it again. You are crass and unprofessional. I have no need to sanitize myself. I state facts. You are dripping in with economy and bitterness and turning off a large swath of your viewers. Good with that amateur nonsense. Now, if you were interviewed, because you've been interviewed a couple of times, Mr. Scaramucci, from Alex Witt and Nicole Wallace, if you tweeted that after they called you out for your cozying up to the, the Trump people or Donald Trump himself, and if you got called out, you wouldn't put out a tweet like that, but you think because Tiffany is young, you think you could do that because she's black. So you got mad because a black person, a black woman checked you? You needed to get checked because you've been appearing on TV nonstop, constantly fucking talking about, talking about how Democrats and everybody should unify and all of this stuff. Yeah, giving your analysis on things, which I don't think you have enough political knowledge to give knowledge or to give your analysis on anything. And you think you was not going to get called out because you work for the Trump administration? You think people are not going to remember what the hell you were saying? If we can check Omarosa, Jaron Smith, and all other people black people that work for the Trump administration, you're not exempt, sir. You're not exempt. Michael Cohen's not exempt. Sean Spicer not exempt. And Sam Nunberger is not exempt. Y'all all was cheerleading, tap dancing, twerking, shaking that ass for Donald Trump. And now that he's out of office, y'all want to revise history and reestablish yourself and sanitize yourself. And I'm going to go further. Baptize yourself, rebaptize yourself in the pure water. Nah, it's not going to fly. And to the white moderates and all the other people, even their black apologists that try to bash Tiffany, you guys ain't shit neither. Y'all actually defending a man that will never defend you when anything racist is said to you, black people, white women, anything misogynistic said to you, Anthony Scaramucci is not going to defend you. He is a typical white man from Long Island. He doesn't give a fuck about you. And that's the God to honest truth. You may not like this lie. You may not like this. Maybe it ain't for you. But I'm speaking the goddamn truth. And the truth is, Anthony Scaramucci is almost like every other white man that I have encountered in my life. No one can check them when they're wrong. No, it's time for you to get checked. When you wrong, you wrong. You admit your wrongs. You don't dance around anything and you don't try to cut people off when people are presenting facts to you. Things that were said that came from your mouth and your mouth only. So to Mr. Scaramucci, and you plan on being booked for other shows, and when the question comes about your experience in the Trump administration, and why you were silent about the both people, fine people on both sides, because you were there for that, you need to answer it and not be a snob. And when you're interviewed by a black woman that is calling you out on this stuff, you need to be prepared. And not have a fucking attitude. And not calling people stupid and unprofessional. Because you owe Tiffany Cross a big ass apology. And she was very nice about it. Because if it was me and you would have called me that, I would have cursed you out. I would have told your wife off because she was there. I would have went in on you. So hard on you. I would have dragged you on social media. So cut your shit, sir, and recognize real. You got dragged, you got called out, and I hope people catch on. Because Tiffany Cross did what every other mainstream media person should have done. She did what no other person have done. Called out the white supremacy and their enablers. And that's what she did. So kudos to Tiff. Now, before I said that was going to be my last topic, I would like to say that we got to be conscious about things. We have to be aware of things that's going on, because we get caught up in being comfortable with comfortable. We get caught up when somebody cleans up the mess, that the next person come in, that, oh, it's no problem. No, we need to be alert, we need to pay attention, and we need to educate ourselves. We don't need to rely on a president and a vice president to do everything for us. There are lower chambers. There's a legislative branch and there's a judicial branch. That's why voting is key. When you vote for local leadership, that's what matters. Because that's who gets shit done in your community. Not a president and a vice president. They have power, but not that kind of power. Not on a local level. So we need to stay conscious and we need to stay vigilant. But until then, you have a good night. Please wear your mask. Please wash your hands and social distance. We're not out of this pandemic yet. Okay? So till then, you have a good night, and I see you next Friday.